Squeaky cheese or cheese curds are actually pretty easy to make. It just begins with 2 gallons of milk. My kids really love it when I make the cheese curds. They're a really nice kind of snacking thing. I've brought them to potlucks and people always enjoy them. There are a fair number of steps involved, but every step is fairly simple, and once you've done it enough times, it becomes no big deal. I'll heat my milk up to 96 degrees on medium heat on the stove. My milk just reached 96 degrees, so at this point, I'll put the lid on it, have it off the heat, and just let it sit there for 90 minutes. This might seem like it's not that important of a step, but it's actually critical for the ripening of it. So be sure to set your timer for 90 minutes and don't short that. Now that it's fully ripened, I'll add half of a teaspoon of calcium chloride. And then I'll add my thermophilic starter. I have a couple of different options. I can either use my prepared starter like I have here, or I can use 1 packet of starter. If I'm using the prepared starter, it would be 4 ounces. I'll then mix it together well. Then I'll place the lid back on and let it rest for 30 more minutes. Now I'll take 1/4 of a cup of water and I'll shake up my bottle of Renet. I like to use the liquid Renet, but you can also use the powdered one. This actually isn't my preferred liquid. This one has like paste or something, but the regular liquid one is. And then I'll place that half of a teaspoon in the water, mix it around, and I'll add that to my milk. This is what actually does the coagulating. And then I'll mix it in kind of an up and down movement because I want all of the levels to get the rennet. Then I'll place the lid back on it and allow this to sit for another half an hour. So it's been a half an hour. And when you look at it, at first you think nothing's really happened. But if you tip your pan, you can actually see that it's separated. It looks like milk jello. And then you'll have the clear whey. If your whey is still a little bit milky, then you want to let it sit for longer. Then I take a knife and I'll cut a grid about 3/4 of an inch apart. And then I'll cut it the opposite direction as well. This is actually my favorite part. When you stir it, you see the little cubes kind of come up. Now I'll place this on the stove and bring it up to 116 degrees. Now I want to do this kind of slowly. The ideal is that it takes about half an hour to get up to 116. Now I've gotten it up to 116 degrees, and you can see that at this point those curds have shrank so much and there's a lot more whey. I'll leave this on the stove maintaining the 116 degrees and continue to stir it off and on for half an hour. Now some people use a cheesecloth for this. I actually don't. I just take it and put it right into a colander. And you can have it in the sink or any number of different places. I actually save all of my whey, and you can use it for putting on the garden. It's actually really good for plants. In addition to that, it's really good for chickens and pigs, which I have both of those. I'll go empty this out and then I'll go one more time. Usually I do this over a 5-gallon bucket, but this works. So usually the whey is going to be more at the top and the cheese towards the bottom. And I just pour it right into my colander. I'll make sure that I have every last bit out of this. And then I actually set it right back in my pan. Then I'll take a little plate and I'll place it directly on top. I want to make sure that it will completely cover the cheese, but not hit the edges, because if it's on the edges, then the weight doesn't go to the cheese. Then I'll place just a little bit of plastic wrap on top of that. The reason for the plastic wrap is that these are actually my weightlifting weights, so it wouldn't be very hygienic for me to have it directly on there. Now these are 8 pounds each, but because they stick out so far, I want to use 2 of them. Usually I would just use 8 pounds. You could do 1-gallon milk jug and just fill it with water and set that there, and that's about 8 pounds. But this is what I do. So I have 2 different 8-pound weights, and I'll put one end on each side of the plate and then allow it to sit for anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. It kind of depends on how dry you like your cheese. We've found that we don't like it very dry, so I usually only go for about an hour or so. So I already took off my weights, and now I'll take off the plate. Like I said, you can continue to go for longer, but we actually don't like it that dry. And if you look here, you can see just how much more of the liquid came out of it as it was sitting. And then what I do is I just pull it into like quarter-size pieces. There will probably be more whey that comes out as you go, and that's not a big deal. You can drain it off later, or you can leave it in it, because I mean, if you're going to eat this right away, you might want to drain it off, but if it's going to be a couple of days, it actually gets a little bit dried out if you take all of the whey out. You can see just how much of that milk was actually whey, because the amount that's cheese is not a huge amount. As a general rule, they say that you'll get 1 pound of cheese for 1 gallon of milk. Now it's time to salt my cheese, and I have to admit, I just sprinkle it over the top. It's going to be different for everybody. I've found that some of my kids, especially my youngest one, really likes it to be extra salty. And the other thing is, the salt tends to be on the surface at first, but over time it goes into the cheese, and so you can hardly taste the salt at all later. My favorite is to actually eat the curds while they're nice and warm, super squeaky and salty, where that salt's just on the top, because while they may taste like maybe just have a little bit too much salt in the beginning, over time it just kind of absorbs in and it won't be that big of a deal. So I just sprinkle it a couple of times, and then I mix it in, just kind of tossing it the same way that I would do with like popcorn. And I probably do it about 3 times here before I taste it. You can just taste it every time if you want to. If you're a little more sensitive to salt, then you'll do smaller amounts at a time. Okay, so now I'll try a little bit. And it's perfectly squeaky. You know, I bet my microphone will cancel out the squeakiness, but it's so great. And the saltiness is perfect. So I'm gonna call this good. I'll put it in the refrigerator in an airtight container, and it should be good for up to a week. But I really feel like the fresh curds are the best. By tomorrow, these will have lost all of their squeakiness, but when they're fresh, that's when you get the squeaky cheese.